which removed the internet cafes, which was what the scandal was about. And it also made the famous maquinitas illegal. Being that we're one of the few cities that have regulated and controls these machines, within 48 hours, there was not a machine in the city of Hialeah. Something I can't say for any other cities here in the county or the state. For some cities, they rather pretend that the machines don't exist and say, we don't have any machines. Recently, we started to see machines again. And spoke to the police chief. I don't know if there's been some changes. Apparently there was some changes in the interpretation somewhere along. We spoke to, contacted Tallahassee, spoke to General Attorney's Office, spoke to State Attorney's Office. And on both counts, they said, look, this law doesn't say those machines are illegal. The possession of machines was at the beginning when this happened. What was interpretation? The possession of machines is not illegal. Playing with a machine is not illegal. A payout and using it for gambling is illegal. I said, wow, put us right back to where we started. Except now we have to start again. Because now we have to go back working with the police department, licensing. We have to begin to regulate or control this thing. We can be like other cities and pretend they don't exist, ban them, and then how do we enforce it? So I spoke to the chief, spoke to the city attorney. One of the biggest issues was, you know what? If the law stays as is, that's up to us. Whichever we want to go with this. Is that we need to tighten up some things. We need to make it more expensive, especially if there's violations of the machines. Because there is a cost for picking up these machines, for housing these machines. So that's what you have in front of you here. Again, yesterday some negative things were written about our city and the machines. Today everybody's correcting themselves now, because they finally made the calls they should have made yesterday. And got a response from the state attorney. Some are trying to get a response from the state. The state is running around. We had a state representative, Carlos Trujillo, speak his mouth. Hialeah was a nation within a nation or something like that. And today I challenged him and I said, we're not a nation within a nation. We're a law-abiding city. We're the only one following the law. And if he's so sure about his law, he should call FDOE, come over here, our police department will support him. Go make those arrests, handcuff those people. We're not talking about taking machines, we're talking about handcuffing people if you're going to follow that law. And see what happens. So, again, we find ourselves, and it's not our doing, it's a state doing. Because there's no secret who wrote that law. It was the lobbies for casinos. And apparently the state representatives and the senators didn't take the time to really look at this or go through enough legal advice to go, you know what, there's some problems here. But we find ourselves here in the same, find ourselves here no different than February. So with this here, this is not a perfect scenario. Just we need to keep tying up, and maybe Tallahassee will go back and do whatever it is you're going to do, you know, next session, and remove these machines, maquinitas. But you know, and I'm sure, like I said, you've all seen it in the news today. Everybody's backtracking because there's one city that has always been by the rules when it comes to the maquinitas. Is us. We're just not hypocrites. Okay? And we have in the last, and this is the last 8 years since we've been here. We've controlled and regulated. We have found the best way of dealing with these maquinitas until somebody finds a more permanent way of removing these maquinitas. So I hope that we support this. If you guys have any other ideas, feel free to bring them up today. Tomorrow we can put more stuff in here. Okay, this is not the final stage here, but you know, so whatever it is that you want to add, Dr. Bill, me, Dr. Chief, and we can do the best with this bad situation.
Madam President.
Councilman Hernandez.
Thank you. You know, Mr. Mayor, it's sad to see the disinformation that exists when it comes to this particular matter. I think that myself and probably all my colleagues, and especially you, for the last 3 or 4 days, I've had calls, family, friends, neighbors, everyone asking me, because no one really understands what's at this matter. No matter what they hear on the news or what they read in the paper, it's not what's clear. It's not clear. It's never clear to them. And I've had to explain it to them. And what's most unfortunate is that, once again, people outside of Hialeah, you always tell people that people inside of Hialeah always know that this is the best city in the world, but the people outside of Hialeah to tarnish the city again, like it's unfortunate, especially when there are other elected officials that are doing this because of their own flawed law. If they would have defined it correctly, we wouldn't be here today. If they would have written a comprehensive bill, we wouldn't be here today having this discussion. But unfortunately, that was not the case, and now we're doing what's right. So it's just been a couple of days where we're really the ones going out there and talking to all these people, letting them know what really happened, and it's unfortunate, once again, that it has to be with an issue within our city.
There was even a headline about that the city was opposing law or something. And it was ridiculous. They hadn't even done the homework to find did it. They hadn't done the homework, talk to the state attorney's office or anybody. And again, we can't control some of these things. But I will tell you what, I won't let no elected official talk about Hialeah. I don't care, especially when he's not from here. He doesn't even have an idea of the city of Hialeah. So learn how to do his job first before we criticize the city of Hialeah. With me, he's going to have problems from now on. I'll make that very clear.
Mr. Chair?
Yes.
Mayor, I think you brought up a good point, because I personally am in favor of regulating something and allowing it to exist illegally and not be able to do something about it, or not be able to go after it. And to the point of what you said about Tallahassee, you know, Veterans of the World was running an internet cafe business, you know, and an illegal at that. We banned internet cafe. Just because Veterans of the World went and did something illegal doesn't mean they have to turn around and run and say, we're going to ban everything. Because we all know, just like the prohibition of alcohol, when they went and said we're going to ban alcohol entirely, what the result of that will do. So that is what I said, to regulate something and allow an existence of something based on a certain set of rules. And those who are illegal, you prosecute them. When you find them, when there's something that's there for you with the facts to do so. To totally turn around and just pass something and say, okay, that's it, it's done, it's over, I mean, that's the easiest thing to do. The results ain't going to be there. And I think it's just the way of Tallahassee being reactionary, being political or something, you know, and come out with a flag and say, you know, we did something about it. In reality, it's functional what they did about it. So I'm in favor of regulation and having some control, and then it'll be easier for those who are not in control for us to enforce the law.
And also, which we do, there's a huge cost. That's real. Chief, I mean, we talked about this too. There's a cost, especially again, we know some of these machines are used for gambling, but now you got to prove. It's not what you know. We know how the law is. It's not what you know. It's what you can prove. There's a cost for that, and we will have to spend some of the money that we collect to do some of these investigations. Okay? And that's not easy, because we all know it's not easy. Okay? But it's the cleanest way we can do it, instead of, again, and I'll repeat it, a lot of cities throughout the state, it's very easy to go, oh, we don't have maquinitas. Okay? All the way from Hollywood Beach, everywhere, go and see the maquinitas. So I agree with you 100%, and that's what we've been doing for the last 8 years, and I think it's the best term until Tallahassee decides what it is that they're going to do, and if there is something that they do a law, like everybody thought this law was, it really has some teeth.
I think some of us were there while this was going on up there, and it was absolutely ridiculous. Back and forth, 3 and 4 hours. And in the end, there was nothing concrete that would actually say you can't have these machines. Some of these businesses got rid of all of these machines that were doing things the right way, closed down their businesses. And unfortunately, they popped up everywhere else. And everyone else has chosen to ignore the fact that they're there. They don't want to say that it's there, but it's there. Once again, here we are, taking responsibility for what's really here, and taking action. So I fully support this, and I know what it's going to mean to the police department. And without these funds, to regulating the funds for it, we won't have any funds to be able to make sure that everything is working how it should. So I commend you for taking a stand.
And again, I want to finish it. Any other council member here that thinks about this law, this is the first reading, we can add it to the next one. I mean, again, there was a couple of things here. Talk to Chief, talk to Bill. Because again, my concept is we need to, if we have, or the choice they've given us to control and regulate, well, at least what's happening, we need to regulate and control this as best as possible. I mean, I've talked to Bill a couple of times, the Chief, how to make it tighter, how to make it, because it's not an easy situation. We've always known it's not an easy situation. So please, anything, whatever, we have another reading.
To the chair.
Yes, sir.
Bill, can we go even further as to how, perhaps for example, how they regulate the alcohol industry, where you're fingerprinted, you can't have a criminal record in the back, one of the owners of the entity operating. Can we take it even a step further?
We already have that as far as the certificate of authorization is concerned.
Okay. So no criminal,
Right.
no criminal record with the entity or the ownership.
Well, the supplier is the issue.
Right.
I mean, sometimes they go to a business, we're not going to do a package.
The supplier. So this is, yes. Okay.
But the supplier of the issue.
Yeah, this should be helpful.
Through the chair?
Yes.
I have a question. I was speaking to Bill, and unfortunately we met a little late as we got very involved in this ordinance. I have a question. This ordinance is the same ordinance that was there before the city decided, before the state passed their law. What changed in the state in the last 3 weeks that, yes,
That's a good question.
thank you, Mayor.
We don't know. We don't know. They went ahead, and when they passed this law, we were,
Because our law never was removed from the books.
well, our ordinance was not removed from the book.
Correct. Our
We followed the color of the law. The law passed. According to the interpretations at the beginning, it was, they're illegal, whatever. So we did, again, what was correct. It applies to everybody within 48 hours. Something happened in the last 4 or 5 months where either their attorneys found a loophole, and I don't know that. Somebody took a shot at it somewhere else. Bottom line is, now everybody's running for the hills. Now it's not machines, and this is a state. Machines possession is not, and I want to say something publicly too. I'm very grateful to our state attorney, Catherine Rondo, because she worked with us.